everyone. Welcome to today's topic and session on Holi. And if we have a few new souls here, or special welcome to you all. And we have a little book at the back where you can register your name and give us your contact information, so that way for future events we can get in touch with you. And we'd really appreciate if you could write as clear as possible, so that way we can make sure that we sending or reaching out to the right person.
There's nobody new.
There's nobody new?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so just a few housekeeping issues then, I guess, or suggestions is, if you have your cell phones on you, if you want to just put them on silent or turn them off completely, so that way we can have your full presence for today's session. So, as you're now familiar with both Shirtampai and Ganesha Ben, they are the co-hosts or the co-instruments for today's topic and running this service place for the Brahma Kumaris. And so I'd like to invite them to come on stage as well. And they will be pretty much leading today's discussion. And I'm sure they'll have some insightful thoughts for you on Holi in particular. So Ganesha Ben and Shridan Bhai, just come on over. So the beauty of having these sessions and having an opportunity to come to Baba's home is that we learn new things, and then we get to share with the family, see some familiar faces, and really have an opportunity to not only fill ourselves but also to get an opportunity to contribute as well. And for me, that's really hits home, because I don't get to come as often as I'd like to, but when I do come, try and maximize as much as possible in any way that I can. So there's a million and one ways where you can contribute to Baba's home with your thoughts, time, you know, just a helping hand here or there, and even just contributing financially if you can, because never we get told all the secrets about what it takes to run a center, and of course we all know running our own lives that it takes a little bit to get through it, and especially financially, but we never get asked that question over here. So maybe we should take it upon ourselves to give a little that way as well. Just a personal thought. Anyways, without delaying much more, let's get into today's topic, and maybe we can switch mics. We'll get into discussing Holi.
This way the mic we can share between me and Kanishta. All right, and some of you know her, right? He had come last time, I guess, and she was part of this panel of conversation, and this the other way around.
Okay,
He-
now it's all in my hair. Alright.
No, so this way. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Oh, okay.
This goes on each ear.
Right.
Yeah,
There we go. Much better.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Say something now?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. So her name is Gemini. She, along with her mother, comes. Her name is Jaya, and they live in Atlanta. This time they have brought another guest. Her name is Kusum from Atlanta too. And so it has been a few months. No, actually they came last week. No, the week prior to last week. 2 weekends. 2 weekends.
Before, yeah.
But before that, it was quite a few months. Yeah?
Right.
So we always enjoy their presence, and like she said, it's fun to serve together. We have been doing these sessions every Saturday, anyways, but it's good to do this in a group setting. This kind of thing, together contribute, and always something more beautiful than we ever imagined gets evolved out of all this. So, anyways, I'm glad to see few faces today. I actually thought that because of this big scare, nobody will ever show up. Yeah, but I'm so glad. The the fear that the people in the world are going through, the panic state, it's interesting how such small things, and I don't mean to belittle it. I'm sure it's a big deal, but is it this big a deal? Is the question, right? That people are panicking to this extent. I'm not saying that we should not take necessary precautions, but I personally want to say that all for a very big fraction of my life, I lived a life of fear for some reason. Fear of everything. A fear of even wild animals, fear of darkness, fear of being alone, fear of ghosts, fear of, I don't know, you can just name. I was afraid of so many things. Fear of failure, fear of speaking up, fear of being rejected, fear of not being enough. I mean, I think I can fill a whole book because of my fears. But then there was one day I realized that how can I live a life with so much of fear? And because fear is a negative emotion, it creates a lot of damage. It destroys you eventually internally. And so even when you look at this coronavirus, COVID-19, the fear of that is what destroys more than the virus itself, you see. And we have realized this over time that the immunity of the body also changes with our positive versus negative emotions or thoughts. So if I keep positivity in myself, if I hold on to my strength, they say that even when you are going into the wilderness and you find a snake or a bear or something, the more you're afraid of that animal, the more it attacks you. Yeah, so the more you're afraid of coronavirus, the more it will attack you too. So it's, I'm not saying again that you don't do what is necessary, wash your hands, but and things like that, and use sanitizer, hand sanitizer, and so on and so forth. But nowadays things are going really crazy. You know, like fights in the supermarket on toilet paper. Yeah. And I've never understood what really toilet paper has to do with coronavirus. Yeah. But
This is what happens, when there is fear, then the mind and intellect stops working.
yeah. So what I have learned in meditation is, again, this is an unofficial motto of the Brahma Kumaris, that stay happy, no matter what. What it teaches us is this very intelligent, very informed kind of optimism. It's not the crazy optimism that unrealistic positivity, which actually can be harmful. You know, some people nowadays in the world of science, when they talk about meditation, so they list a lot of benefits of meditation, but then they also list some negative effects of meditation, and one of which is sometimes the false sense of optimism sometimes that it creates. Yeah, but that is because we haven't understood meditation. We haven't truly practiced meditation. They say that sometimes people can be reckless because they have learned they feel that, oh, now I'm meditating, nothing can ever happen to me. Yeah, that's not true either. Meditation gives you the strength to face situations, circumstances in in an intelligent way, in a very meaningful way, yeah, positive way, in a very meaningful, purposeful way, so that it can benefit you, yeah, it can keep you stable, but also help people around you. You become an image of support for others. Things will happen. I remember several years back, I think 25 years back, when I was back in India, there was this AIDS thing that, HIV virus was a big deal. Everybody was so scared of it. And then things happen, right? Things have changed. Now nobody is that scared. There was the hepatitis C virus that became such a big scare. And for us as doctors, we have to deal with these patients every day. We come in contact with these patients and their blood and things like that, and it's everyday business. For people in the community, they can stop going to school, stop going to colleges, stop going to work. Yeah, for us, we have to always go to work. Yeah, and we always have to see these patients. So, I mean, there's only so much of fear that can help. Yeah, so actually, fear doesn't help at all. So my congratulations to you all for making the effort, and I tell you, this will go a long ways. The the mind gets programmed every time you. I'm seeing that personally for myself, that when you create negative thoughts of fear or anxiety, that also kind of builds up over time. Similarly, positivity builds up over time. So today you're making this effort, and the courage that you've taken is going to have a long lasting effect in your lives in the times to come. So once again, congratulations. Yeah. All right. Yeah, clap to all of you. Yeah. All right. So shall we start with?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, some few questions. So,
Yeah.
um, in my life, my understanding of Holi, of what I've seen, of course, I haven't had the full-on experience of it, but just a few points that I remember from my childhood is one, there's a bonfire. Two, there's a special intoxicating drink associated with it. And there's some story about an evil king
Mhm.
and a child being burned, and then just the fun
Tried
part.
to burn, but child did not
Didn't get burned,
Yeah.
right? And then the fun part of just playing with different colors and paint and colored powder. So I honestly don't know why those specific things are the key points of Holi. So if you can just maybe shed some light on that.
Yeah, there are many things about Holi. How many of you really know about Holi?
Not sure your definition of it.
No, because I have seen people playing with colors here, even
Right.
Westerners I have seen that playing with colors. That's
So
a lot
yeah,
of fun.
we would love to hear what
But
you know about
what
it.
is your experience about? Have you ever, thought about or maybe any idea about Holi?
No, I do not.
You don't have any idea. And you too?
I'd never heard of it until I saw your email.
Oh, really?
No, but they're talking about this in
Yeah,
West.
they're talking about Holi. Even I saw so many pictures in Augusta University. They were playing with Holi colors, and even the
Yeah.
Westerners. I saw.
It was new for me too, to know that in the West people are
Yeah.
coming to know about it.
Right. And Vicky, I know you mentioned that you're very eager to know about it, right?
Honestly, just Shah Rukh Khan and some of his movies.
Movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shah Rukh Khan.
And movies, so that's all I know about it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. You watch Indian movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So India is a land of festivals. There are so many festivals. But these festivals are very unique. Each and every festival has deep spiritual meaning. Like last time, I think 2 weeks ago, we talked about this festival of Shivratri. It was about awakening. And today we are going to talk about this holy festival, which has also deep spiritual meaning. So basically, we can start off with understanding the meaning of this word, holy. Holy in English, the meaning of holy is H-O-L-Y, if we take it like that. H-O-L-Y means purity, right? So we will talk more about this later on, but to start off with, just general understanding of this word, holy. And in Hindi, the meaning of holy means past is past. Whatever happened, just put a full stop to everything. Because this festival is actually, the time when everyone kind of come together and they celebrate together. They don't remember what the other person did to them. It's a celebration, it's joy. Everyone is like, it's like a day of forgiveness, in a way we can say, forget everything, whatever the other person did, and just enjoy the day. So that is the second meaning. And the third meaning of holy is, it means that I belong to the one God. So these are the three meanings of holy, but we can maybe expand more about these three meanings later on. But as you were mentioning about the story,
Right,
maybe because
yeah.
this is a new story for everyone, maybe I'll talk a little bit about one main story. There are many legends actually, but this is the main one. When people talk about this king demon, his name was Hiranyakashyap. And
Difficult name, right?
yeah, Hiranyakashyap. You don't have to remember the name.
No,
just-
we'll take a test.
So this king actually he got a boon. Actually, he asked for it. Actually, he asked for this boon that nobody should be able to kill me. No human being. He got this boon that no human being,
He
no
practiced
animal.
penance, meditation.
Yeah, he did intense meditation. He worshipped, and then he asked for this boon
Yeah.
that nobody should be able to kill me. No human being,
I become
no
an immortal.
animal.
I become
Yeah.
immortal.
No animal, no human being, neither in the day nor in the night, neither inside the house nor outside the house. And so this was a very typical boon that he got. And when he was granted this boon, he thought that he has become immortal and nobody is going to ever kill him. So he started considering him as God. I am
Himself.
God. Yeah. Himself he said that he asked all his subjects that worship me as if I am God. And everyone, because he was a cruel king, everyone in that kingdom, they started obeying his orders and they started worshipping him. But his own son, his name was Prahlad, his own son refused to accept him as God, because he thought that, how can a human being be God? No human being can ever be God. So he had firm faith that God is only one. So he continued his own worship and he did not believe in his own father. So his father was kind of, infuriated. He got very angry that my own son is not seeing me as God. So he made multiple attempts to kill his own son. He ordered, to just throw him from the top of the hill, and then, he asked people to just throw him in front of tiger, lion, and he was locked in a room full with snakes. So all sorts of things he tried with him, even under the feet of the elephant. He was trampled.
Poison.
Yeah, poison, all sorts of things was done to harm him. But because he believed in God, he had firm faith, unflinching faith in one God, he was always, every time, he was left unharmed. So then he thought that what to do now. He got more and more angry. And then he asked his sister, the name of his sister was Holika. And his sister was also actually, she got another boon that she cannot be ever burnt by fire. So he asked his sister to put the child on her lap and just sit in the fire, because he knew that his sister cannot be burnt, but this child will be burnt, right? But see, the thing is that if his sister did not know that if she misuses the bone, then it's not going to work. And that's what she did. Because she misused the bone, she was actually burnt, but not the son. He was left unharmed. So see, if one has firm faith, one is his conviction that God is only one, God came to rescue him and he was left unharmed. But then, when this happened, this king got more and more angry because he lost his own sister, right? So then he thought that, okay, now I am going to do it myself. So he called all the people in that kingdom to show them how powerful he was. And he kind of created a place in his own kingdom which was kind of outside It was not outside. I think it was in the middle of his palace, and so like he had gotten the boom. He cannot be killed inside, outside. So I don't know. For some reason, he got a place that was in the middle, and he said that, he ordered that one iron pillar be prepared in such a way that it is red hot. So he prepared that. He made that. He made sure that that was red hot, and then he said to his son that now I will see how your God will come to help you. What you need to do is you have to go and you have to embrace this red hot iron pillar. Red hot iron pillar. So then this boy was like, now he talks to God and he says, now see, it's now your test. How am I going to embrace this hot red iron pillar? Then what happened? As he was talking to God, he saw one ant. Ant was moving up, on this pillar. And he got this idea, if this ant is walking so comfortably without getting hurt, I can also embrace this iron pillar. And then he walks over and then he embraces. And the moment he embraces that iron pillar, what happened? God came out of that iron pillar in the form of half human and half lion. And then he attacked that king. And that bone was not violated because he was not killed by a human being, not by an animal, nor by an animal. He was half lion and half human. The name is Narsinghar, right? Narsinghar. So, and that was the time when it was neither day nor night, because it was, I think, dusk. So the boon was not violent, and it was not inside nor outside.
So when he takes him and puts him at the threshold of the palace.
Right.
So God takes him, puts him on the threshold of the house, of the palace, and then there is one more thing, that not a drop of blood should be spilled or something, right?
Right. His weapon, no weapon can harm.
No weapon can harm. So the lion's claws, so his claws.
Yeah, his claws actually. He used his claws to
rip
just
his stomach.
Rip his stomach.
And then as the stomach is ripped, then the blood didn't come out because everything is contained in the stomach, right?
Something like that.
So anyways, those details are not important, but at the end, the evil is complete, is finished, is destroyed, and the good reigns over the evil. What the story tells us is that if we have unflinching faith in one God and we do the right things, we are not trying to harm others, then the evil is not going to win over us. We will win over evil. And evil is not something out there, it's really within ourselves that we have to conquer. Yeah, and so the part about the sister, when she sits in the pyre of fire and gets destroyed, is what is celebrated in
that is why this fire.
it's an artificial fire. So that's done the day prior, right? And we call it as Holika again, just to commemorate that lady, the demon lady, and the whole process. So you can leave it there, Kanisha. It's just very difficult to put it here.
Yeah, I can just so that people can see over there. Yes.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So the day prior to this is when what people do is they take all the rubbish from their houses, and they will create a bonfire and throw everything in there. In a way, it is a cleansing process where physically people clean up. But more important than physical cleanliness, it's about the mental cleanliness. That we throw away the rubbish that is within our minds and in our relationships, of things that have happened in the past. We go and destroy it. Not necessarily into an actual fire, but sort of a metaphorical fire that it's really symbolic, right? I mean, the fire, but that's where the word you were saying, holy, that is that past is past. The second meaning, holy. It has already happened. Why am I going into it? Past is past. We never revisit the past, really. We can never go into the past. Yeah, is there anybody who can go into the past? No. We go in the past in our minds and we relive that same situation again and again, and that's what destroys our peace and happiness. So, no more of going into the past, it's done, and now today is a fresh start for ourselves and for all the relationships that we have. Yeah? Yeah.
So, just a couple points from the story that caught my attention, and maybe the detail is significant, maybe it's not. But the twilight, the fact that it's neither day, neither night, does that have any connection with the cycle?
Yeah, that's a good question, good observation. Because when we talk about day and night, like last time also we talked about this day-night cycle, that it's not literal day and night, but it is the time when people are really ignorant. People are really, they've forgotten who they are. So they are in extreme darkness. Nowadays, people, what they think, they kind of see themselves as this physical body. So that means they are in darkness. That age, actually, we call that age as the age of darkness or Kali Yuga, Iron Age. That's why, that iron pillar is symbolic of the Iron Age. We all are in that Iron Age. And the day signifies the time when the soul really understands that the original self is not the physical body, but the original identity is that it's the soul. So it's very important for us to get this understanding, and this understanding can only be given by God Himself. And He comes only at the time when there is extreme darkness, extreme degradation. And if we look around in today's world, that's the time that we are in. There's extreme degradation, extreme darkness. People are so egoistic. There's a lot of ego, that is symbolic of, that king represents the demons that are inside each one of us, actually. Ego and lust and, anger, attachment, all these vices are present in each and every human being. So the inner demon is present in each one of us. But who can help us conquer these vices? God has to come. So God descends during this time of the cycle, and God makes us aware that children, God is our Father. God makes us aware that children, you have been in darkness for so long. Now is the time for you to awaken and understand who you are. You are not this physical body, and these vices are not yours. They are all demons. And I can tell you how to conquer these vices. So God comes, He gives us the knowledge, He gives us the understanding, He makes us aware. And then, if we are obedient, just like, Prahlad in that story, Prahlad, actually the literal meaning of Prahlad, it's a beautiful meaning. It means Prabhu ki aulad, that means the true child of God. So if we are true child of God, and if we are true child, means we are listening to whatever He is telling us, we are obedient, then no matter who comes in our way, nobody can do anything. Just like Prahlad was always a winner. So many things, that king tried to do with that child, but nothing affected him. He was always unharmed. So similarly, if we keep our faith and if we are obedient, if we listen to Him, and this is what we do in meditation, we make that communication, we make that relationship, we forge that relationship with God, and we kind of obey whatever He is telling us. And just we have to follow, and that's how we can even overcome the fear that Shwetank was talking about. Just have faith in one God, and then this fear and anxiety and worries and whatever negative emotions people are creating in today's world, we are not going to get affected by any of these. Because it's very easy. If somebody is kind of getting worried, then it's very easy to get affected. But if we are in contact, in communication, in relationship with God, then we are always filled with positivity. And our positivity will then not only help others, help ourselves, but also help others overcome that negative feelings.
So the fire is pretty important, it seems, because it's used to burn all the rubbish, and also he came out. Prahlad came out unburnt from sitting on Holika's lap. So is the fire the same as our meditation? So yoga, that we literally have to burn all our rubbish in it. And if so, like, how do I know I'm making that connection? Like, it's that hot.
That's a good question. You want to answer?
No, you can answer if you want.
Yeah, so here we actually, we use one word that is fire of yoga. So we not only say yoga, but we say Yog Agni or fire of yoga. Because fire is actually symbolic of purification. In fire, anything you put, that thing will get transformed. So it's a symbol of transformation as well. And that is what we are aiming for during this time, because initially, originally, soul is very pure. But what has happened over time, because of our forgetfulness, we forgot our original identity, and we got caught up in body consciousness and all these vices. Because of that, the original purity of the soul gets lost. So when we put ourselves, when we make the connection with God, seeing ourselves as souls and seeing Him as a supreme soul, when we make that intense connection, that connection has to be intense. And because of that intensity, then only that soul will get enough energy to bring about the transformation. And that's why we use this word fire. Because unless we create that fire, that total transformation is not going to happen. Because that is what is important for the soul to bring about, because the soul has become like black, completely black. It was originally very pure white. Now from that blackness, it has become like coal. From that blackness to that sparkling form like diamond, it has to go through intense heat, intense pressure. That's why we say that the soul has to sit on that fire of yoga. Fire of yoga and fire of yoga.
Well,
When we talk about fire, like you said, it's very transformative. If you see an example which would really work very well here would be the example of a furnace. In a furnace, there are two types of furnaces. One for the purification, like if you have, say, gold ore, you put gold ore in it, the impurities will melt away and you will be left with pure gold. And the other is like, for example, clay. If you put clay cut in the form of bricks and you put in there, then it hardens and becomes strong. Normally clay is so soft that you can break it very easily, you can mold it in whatever shape you want, but once it becomes a brick, nothing, you cannot do anything with it really. I mean, you cannot break it. In fact, it becomes so strong that a whole building can be erected on it. It can. There is some sort of mathematical calculation of how much force that can be exerted on a single brick. It's tremendous before you can break it. So now, when we are, and that's where the intensity that you were talking about, that when we are in that intense connection with God, And by that intense connection, I mean, is when we have disconnected ourselves from the unnecessary and waste things around us. Because you see, on a regular basis, there's so much of distraction for all of us. Yeah, there is quite a bit happening, right? Do you agree? I remember those days when college and school, there were no distractions. There wasn't television in most houses. We didn't have cell phones. There were no credit card bills. Yeah, nowadays, I was just looking at the number of bills you have. It's just so much. You have a water bill, a sewer bill, a trash can bill, the grass cutting bill, then the person who comes and sprays the fertilizer, then there is one bill for the person who comes and does the pest control, and then there's a cell phone, then there is a internet, electricity, water. I mean, it's just gas. It just it's
Car.
yeah, it's just endless. Yes, yeah, your mortgage. It's just endless, and so our energy gets so diverted to so many different places. But if we can, that's why in meditation we say the first step is actually disconnecting. So if we can disconnect from the unnecessary things, the external, and I'm not saying these are paying bills is unnecessary. Of course, it's important, but when we get stuck in so many different things, yeah, there are endless parties, there are endless gatherings, there are endless places to visit, yeah, so many social obligations. If we continue with all those endlessly, then we won't be able to connect to God and tune into what God has to say to us, share with us. So it's important to disconnect. The more we can disconnect, more we can experience that focused connection with God. That's the intensity, and that's what metaphorically is called as the fire of yoga. Yeah, that's where the purification happens. That's where they say fire can melt the hardest stone. Yeah, and so it can melt it, and even wax becomes soft. Everything becomes soft. So on one hand, something that's think of it, something that's hard becomes soft, something that's soft becomes hard, something that's heavy becomes light, something that's light becomes heavy. There's so many things happen when you put into fire. Yeah, it's so interesting.
And one of the rituals that people do on this occasion of Holi is, because Holi festival also is like it marks the beginning of spring season. So they come up with their own harvest, and then they come and they put grains, wheat and barley grains, they roast them. And when you roast, then what happens? The seeds, if you put the seeds again on the ground, they are not going to give you anything, right? So that also has a deep spiritual meaning. The seeds, they represent the seed of our thoughts that we hold on to. So we have to not only kill those thoughts which are unnecessary.
Just not only remove but roast them.
Roast them, yeah. Burn them completely. So you have to do that inner roasting. That is possible only when you put that in the fire. Without that, you cannot roast. You need fire to roast. Right? Can you roast anything without fire? No. So we have to completely burn those seeds, because sometimes we say that, yes, okay, I forgive that person. But we keep remembering, we keep thinking, we keep creating those thoughts again and again and again. But if we roast them, then those thoughts we will not put those thoughts into actions, because action is the fruit. Thought is the seed and action is the fruit. So if the seed is burnt completely inside, then it will not come into action. Otherwise, if it is half burnt or half killed, then there is possibility of coming into action. You see someone, and then that thought, because that thought is not burnt completely, again the same thought will come. Oh, this person is like this person is like that. Right? But if you have completely burnt, then if you're meeting with someone with whom you had maybe bad encounter or whatever, you will make a fresh start. You will not come up with the same thought that you used to have for that person. That's why it's important to completely burn the seed of thoughts. Because thoughts are very important. Whatever we do, the origin is our thoughts.
So, just to make sure I understand that process clearly, so to burn my thoughts doesn't mean that I should stop thinking, but it means I should transform my thoughts. So I'm no longer thinking those old thoughts.
That's correct. That's why, they also bring those old wood furniture or everything old.
Right,
They don't burn anything new,
right.
but they burn everything old. So those old patterns of thinking, old patterns of feelings, old ways of seeing others, old attitude, old nature, everything old needs to go away. Because when old things they go away, then only I create space for the new things to come in. See, if this room is full with old furniture, and if I order new furniture, how am I going to put the new furniture inside this place? I have to create space.
Correct.
So I need to let go of everything old from this hall before I even think about getting new furniture. Right? Otherwise, I'll be struggling how to put in the new furniture inside.
So you mentioned the seeds, and I think I remember from my childhood, specifically coconut. They would throw in the whole coconut, and then once it's like fully burnt, take it out. And
Yeah,
then,
so coconut is
yeah.
also another thing that they use apart from this. And I think, yeah, you came up with a very good thing that I forgot. Coconut also has a very beautiful meaning. Why coconut? Because see, coconut is hard from the outside, but it is so soft from inside, right? So that hardness actually represents our body consciousness, our ego. So only when you break coconut, you will have access to that soft part. Without breaking, you cannot eat the soft thing inside. Similarly, if you want to access your inner beautiful being that you are, you have to break this body consciousness, the ego. Because this ego does not allow us to come in contact with our, the being, the purity that we are talking about, the pure self. You cannot access that. And a very important meaning of Holi is to be pure. And purity comes only, you will have access to purity only when you let go of this ego. See, the demon king, he had big ego. That ego needs to be broken. So he was killed because of that big ego.
So just going along with the story, things that I want to understand is
So all of you are enjoying, right? The story? Connection of the story with this
real life, yeah.
Not the man trying to kill his child. No, I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, because of the big ego. So ego has to go away,
Yeah.
right?
See, that too has a meaning that when we are so stuck in ego, then we don't understand the importance of something that is so valuable, so precious. And we are in that ignorance or that denial mode and we are ready to sacrifice something which is truly important, valuable for us, for something that we get stuck onto, and that's what the story is kind of signifying. Yeah, you wanted to go back.
Yeah. So maybe Shwetampa, you can elaborate on having so much faith, because it seems that was the fundamental thread that kept Prahlad alive.
Yeah.
And be able to pass through all those different tests. So, is that something I build over time, or just automatically have?
Yeah, see, faith comes with experience. When you say, you use any electrical appliance even, yeah, and you see that electrical appliance working in the way you want it to, right? You say, for example, you buy a blender and you want to make smoothie, it works great, you get a great smoothie, start appreciating it, you start having faith in the blender that every time you could, it's going to make that smoothie, exactly, and make it in the right way. Similarly, we need to be able to have that kind of an experience with God. And I like to use the phrase of use God. Yeah, use God for whatever you need. Not necessarily as the relationship that organized religion has somehow ended up creating for us, of us begging for help. Yeah, but rather than that, seeing God as my parent, someone who is always there for me, who's always guiding me, as supporting me, helping me, nurturing me, caring for me, and 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 as a child, only when I surrender, in a way, not necessarily surrender would mean physically surrender, but truly in my mind surrender to the will of God. And what is the will of the God? The will of God is to be good to others, to be a good person, to be a kind human being, compassionate human being, to serve others in every way or form. And if I do that, then I experience God's love, God's help, God's support. You see, many times, in fact, really speaking, when we are in body consciousness, ego, then are when we connect to God, it's really for our own personal needs, very mundane needs, very selfish motives that we want those to be fulfilled. But as you begin to experience, begin to realize that when you connect to God, that God doesn't really fulfill these selfish motives. God's help comes when we surrender to a state of unselfishness, of selflessness, yeah, that we want to truly go out and be what God wants us to be, to do what God wants us to do for His children. Yeah, surrender to service. Yeah, and so I am realizing over time that it is a two-way street with God. It's we always hope that some miracle will happen and God's love will begin to flow into us. And in fact, actually, it's a gate it's a one-way gate, if you will. It's a two-way street, but one-way gate in a way that I have the key to the lock, yeah, or the gate opens in a way that I have to first open it. God can't open it, sort of, Is that making sense? It's a one-way valve. And so only if I push it open, then I can receive from God. So the effort has to happen through me to be able to receive. And I'm seeing that over time, it builds on itself, because once you open the gate for a little bit, you start receiving God's help, God's love, God's support, and then you want to kind of do it more often to get more support. And it's interesting, it almost becomes addicting. Yeah, because in a good way, because God's love is so beautiful, so powerful, so empowering, so transformative, so enriching, so revitalizing, that more and more you experience it, more and more you want to experience it. Yeah, you experience it for a few hours, but that's not enough. You want to experience it more. And there is no harm whatsoever to receiving God's love. It's so beautifully transformative, and transformation itself can be very addicting, because when you see that you are connecting to God, you're receiving God's help, and you start to transform, become a better person. But then you see, wow, by becoming a better person, I'm less stressed, I have less anxiety, I love myself more. Yeah, so you want to change more. And then you want to see what needs to be done to change more. Oh, I need to connect to God more. I need to keep the gates open more to receive God's love. So it's a beautiful cyclical process, and one thing leads to the other, and then eventually you end up with a very firm faith, which like they say that in Brahma Kumaris we say that the boat of truth can shake, yeah, but can never drown. So we are on a boat of life, and if you think of it, if you have a very expert boatman, I remember long back when we were in India, there's a very treacherous river, where a lot of people die. It's called as Narmada, and it goes through these the canyon sort of thing, between mountains and hills and whatever, and on the side is marble. There's one city where when it goes through this, there's just marble where they excavate marble, and so on a full moon night, it's so beautiful if you go there. You see the moon's light shining on the marble, and so it's pitch dark except for the moon's light. Yeah? And there is, if you go in that boat ride, there's this boatman. It's a very old time boats that they have. It's not even those modern boats. You don't have any. There's no nothing. No
Safety
life
gear,
jacket.
yeah.
No life jackets back in India.
Yeah.
And actually, none of us knew how to swim. Yeah, so we are in that, and this boatman goes through these caves, and these. Have you taken that ride?
No.
It's in Jabalpur. Yeah. It's interesting, and he doesn't even look back. He's facing us, and he's going through these very narrow caves and all, and he doesn't even look back. But we are ready to give our lives to this person, and he is an expert boatman. These people are very experienced boatmen, and we're ready to give our lives to them. That kind of faith, surrender to them, just to enjoy the beauty of that of the marble, right? The scene. Now look at this and think of the true boatman, if you will, God as the boatman of our lives. God cannot make mistakes. God really knows what's best for us. If we can surrender to God being our boatman and follow His advice, and we can call that boat as a boat of truth, then things may happen. It's not that problems will end. And I don't want people to get the false impression that once you start meditating, there will be no problems. Life will become a bed of roses. Yeah, Rosie, it's not going to happen. Things will still come. But what happens is with this faith in God, we are able to overcome all that. It may shake, but for sure, it can never sink. Yeah, does that answer the question about faith?
Yeah,
Would you like to
definitely.
add something to faith? The aspect of faith?
One of the phrases that we use in Brahma Kumaris is one who has faithful intellect is always victorious. So victory is always there if I have faith.
Yeah.
So it's already there. I don't even have to think whether I'll be victorious or not. And that's what that little child, he had this firm belief because he believed in God, that God is with me and it's my victory. That's why he did not even hesitate to sit in that fire. Right?
Even in modern science now, about belief and faith.
Yeah, belief really, if you believe in something, it's not just here, but in every aspect of life. If you believe in something, then you will get it. You believe in yourself, yes, I can do it, you get it. You believe in medicine, this medicine is going to help me, that medicine will definitely going to help you. The belief is power in itself, but you have to believe. At least initially, Here we learned this very beautiful phrase that if you take one step of courage, then you get 1,000 steps of courage from God.
Help from God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just have to take one step of courage. One step of courage and you receive 1,000-fold help from God. But that one step of courage is
needed.
actually that's the place where people they hesitate to go. They resist a lot.
I recently attended one of the conferences of the Integrative Medicine Fellowship that I'm doing online, and in that they took us through acupuncture and so to teach us basics of acupuncture, and it's so interesting. They said at the end, the main guy, that if the patient doesn't believe, or if you yourself as a practitioner don't believe that it will work, it probably won't work. So there is, and belief eventually leads to faith. So if I have to, in other words, I have to look at my beliefs, I have to see where my mind is going, work on my beliefs, work on my faith, and build it up over time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess the practical steps, because I'm all about, simplifying it so that I can follow, a 101 guide on how to do things. So, fake it till you make it. Is that a way that I can build my belief system? Like tell myself, even though right now I don't see myself as a pure soul, because I know I'm aware of things that I didn't do that would, qualify as being a pure soul, then at least if I tell myself, wake up every day and give myself those few good thoughts that yes, I'm a pure soul, yes, I'm a divine child of God, yes, I'm a positive person, it's still going to work.
Yeah. Yes and no. It's a very good question, but want to clarify this fake it till you make it is a phrase that's used in the world,
Right.
and you see it really is not working.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it not working? Because what happens is when you keep faking it, you become masters at faking. You see? It becomes a habit. And so here, meditation, Raj Yoga meditation especially, is not faking it. It's not like, I'm really upset, but I'm just going to smile. Yeah, it's not like that. It's really understanding why you need to be happy.
Right.
So, although you may not be truly happy right now, but if you remind yourself of all the lovely things you have or you have been endowed with by God Himself, then the happiness level goes up. Instead of saying to yourself in a non-meaningful way that you're happy, you remind yourself of why you need to be happy. So when that comes on the forefront of your mind, then you realize that you need to be happy, and so you become happy.
Right.
So is that making sense? The difference, yeah, that when you understand the true significance of your life, if you start understanding the true purpose of your life, if you start understanding who you really are, your true identity, then happiness, peace, love, all those things become part of your existence. You understand that you are peace. You're truly peace. You're truly love. You're truly happiness. That's who you are. It's not that you gotta be happy or you gotta be peaceful. That's not truth. The truth is you are perfect, whole, complete, the best you can ever imagine. You are a child of God. Yeah, you have been created as an image of God, like a mini God, if you will. Yeah, that's who you are. And just reminding yourself that gives you the peace and happiness, so you don't have to fake it. Makes sense, the difference?
Yeah.
See, if you fake, then you are kind of making yourself weak. because faking is like making yourself powerless.
Mhm.
And meditation is about empowerment. It is not about going into the path of weakness. So if you hold on to this truth that yes, I am a pure soul. I am a pure soul. I am not faking. This is the truth. And truth is the truth is the truth.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like a
Right?
rose is a rose is a rose.
Right.
Yeah, there is no other way.
I like that. Truth is a truth is a truth.
Yeah. Right? There is nothing to be doubtful about it.
Right.
That I am a pure soul. And and if you are truthful to yourself, if you are truthful to this statement that I am a pure soul, you are kind of creating a pathway towards God's house. Right? Because God is truth. So you have to be truthful if you want to access the treasures that God has. And it is one of the phrases that we use in Brahma Kumaris. I love that statement is God is pleased with an honest heart.
Yeah.
So if I am honest, and honesty is what? Honesty is truthfulness, being truthful to yourself. So if you are truthful to yourself, then you are you come closer and closer to God. And if you come closer and closer to God, then you will have access to everything that God has. And this is the beauty of meditation. You make yourself eligible. There is this eligibility criteria. Because, we are living in this world of falsehood. Everything in this world is false. Everyone is in this false identity that they are this physical body. So if everything around us is false, then we also tend to move towards that path of falsehood. So we are then going away. We are not we will no longer be able to access God's wisdom, God's property. So that's why it's very important to be on this path of truth that I am a soul. That's the gateway to enter into God's territory. Right?
And it's actually very tiring to fake it too. It's almost like a mask. Have you attended those? I haven't ever, but I've seen videos and movies of people when they hold, in those days, they used to hold a mask on their face and they'll go to the parties. Yeah?
Masquerade.
This was masquerade? Okay, thank you. And so I'm sure after a few hours of holding it like this,
Tired.
it's just tiring. So I found myself at one point in my life, in my spiritual journey, holding a mask like this because you always want to project yourself as good. But you haven't done the homework inside to clean inner homework to clean yourself. It's like when you haven't cleaned your house well and you're expecting guests and you just start putting all the trash inside the closets and cupboards. Yeah.
Don't open a drawer, guys.
Yeah, don't open a drawer. It's going to go open and explode, right? So that's what we do. So instead of that, if I can start working honestly on my inner self, then I will have no fear in showing what I have within, even if it is work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's a good point of clarification because we live in a world of duality
Yeah.
a lot, and staying focused on the absolute truth and being able to discriminate between truth and falsehood are, to me, I think, important skills on your journey.
So tell us about your journey so far. When you, how have you felt this thing about connecting with God, one, but also about this honesty and faith?
Connecting with God, I think it's something that, I hear you when you say it's a two-way street because you only can't access as much as you want to access, and to be able to access, you have to make the connection. So for sure, I agree with 100% with that to be able to connect with God, you have to invite Him into your life, all the different aspects of your life, and engage in conversation. And also it can be a formal sit-down meditation session, to have that link with God. And then just building faith and recognizing the truth. I think for me, luckily, I would say the truth came easy because the minute I heard it, it just felt absolute and complete to me. So there wasn't like a should I go investigate something else moment for me. I knew it was right. Whether I took action immediately or not was a different story. But the recognition of truth, like you said, truth is truth. There's no, you cannot mask it. It's there to be seen. So for me that was kind of easy. But faith, I feel, is a journey because it's only
But
through experimenting.
won't you connect faith with truth? That truth every day is being uncovered. You're discovering more truth. One is, yes, the understanding that, yeah, I need to make a change, and that's the
Right.
truth. But every day is uncovering the truth a little more.
Yeah,
And that's how faith builds up too.
yeah, 100%. Because it's like opening a box with many layers.
Yeah.
Because here, first you see, this big purple box with pink dots on it, and then you're like, oh yeah, I see it. I can clearly see it's purple with pink dots. And then suddenly, once that's done, suddenly it changes, and now you see a green box with stripes on it, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that was there. But it's only because you developed your wisdom that now you can actually see this other layer
Yeah.
that was there. So yeah, the truth reveals itself the more you experiment, the more you deepen your meditation, the more you engage in conversations with God, and because of that, you feel more confident and faith in your heart, and you want to do it more because it's exciting. You get to see more aspects and new things that you didn't even know about yourself. You're like, oh, I didn't know that this came so naturally to me that other people recognize it, but you didn't even know that because it's so authentic from you, you know. So yeah, that's kind of my journey.
Yeah, and I like what you said about the layers. When just to go a little deeper in that, is sometimes we as spiritually motivated, people, yeah, we're trying to make these efforts. It gets very easy to get stuck in these layers. Yeah, and oh, I love this green with stripes.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't want to go deeper. Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we forget that the real diamond is at the core, right?
Right.
And oh, I love this green. I don't want to ever open anything more. Yeah, because there are some layers as you open can be dark. Say it?
That aren't so pretty.
Right.
Exactly, yeah, and then you'll be like, I wish I had stayed there with the green the stripes, yeah? I don't like this black one, but because you're going to uncover certain facets of your own personality, of your own existence, which which you have to deal with. But those are unpleasant moments in our spiritual endeavors. All right.
There's something also to be said. The path is also gratefulness. Like so many people have so much,
Yeah.
and they, oh well, for example, the flooring in my house. I cannot stand that flooring in my house, but gosh, I'm sure grateful that I have that flooring and I have that house.
Yeah.
You know, there's a path
Yeah.
to faithfulness that also involves gratefulness
Yeah.
of what God has, the gifts that God has bestowed upon you. And I have found that the more grateful I am, the more faith that I have, and it all goes hand in hand.
Thank you, Claudia. I really appreciate it. The gratitude is a topic in itself. It's a very beautiful, positive emotion. It definitely helps in creating deeper levels of faith, and it's truly transformative. I totally agree with you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Shall we go deeper into that, Holi?
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe the
Yeah.
funner side of it.
The next day.
Yeah, the next phase where I think there's I know there's this intoxicating drink, and I know there's the fun with the colors. So I don't know which order it happens in, or yeah, if you can just take one of those and expand.
Yeah, it's interesting, as you're saying, I can see, what I saw in my childhood. They would create a big, kind of a big hole type of thing, and then they will uh, fill that hole with water, and then they will have drinks on the side, and everyone will come and they will drink, and then they will, others will put that person in that hole, big hole with water. So that was kind of fun, that they would do with that, all those, activities.
I'm glad I wasn't
Uh,
there.
And so a real intoxication, actually, it's not that you have to drink to get intoxicated and things like that. It's not about the physical drink, but it is actually the intoxication that you feel when you understand the real truth. When you get clear understanding of something, think about a small child. Small child is not able to understand maybe particular chapter in science, feeling very hard, but this child gets very good understanding by maybe someone, a friend or maybe mom or anyone. And the moment child understands, oh, this is what it is. There is happiness in the child's face, right? No more fear, no more worry. Now I understand it clearly. So there will be that confidence. Yes, now I know it. So similarly, when we understand what is reality, what is the ultimate truth, so that intoxication, that yes, I know it, I get so much confidence. I become more and more confident, and I feel like telling that truth to everyone. I go around and I tell everyone, oh, this is what I have understood. I want you also to understand, because this understanding is making me feel so happy. So that intoxication comes, with more and more understanding. So that is the intoxication that we talk about, when we understand the deeper meaning of this festival, Holi. We get more and more intoxicated. And then the fun part is coloring, using colors. Actually, traditionally the original color that people used to use came from the flowers, actually the petals. They used to crush those petals, and then it was a particular flower, I don't remember the name of it, but that flower was considered to be very healing, actually, to the skin. So that's how this festival started during those times. They used to use colors made up of flowers and herbs, and that was good for the skin. So there was scientific reason for that also. If you put on those colors, your body will heal. But nowadays what they're using is all, synthetic colors, so many chemicals, they're damaging to your skin. So that originality is lost. Just like our originality is lost. That is also lost. So anyway, the meaning of coloring each other and coloring each other, the meaning is very deep. It doesn't mean that you just take the colors and put another person's face, because see, if you see a person fully colored with those colors, can you recognize? Many times I can't. In my childhood days, if I remember, it was hard for me to really, because people will come door to door, they will go door to door, they will knock, and then they will try to put colors on you, and then I'll see. It was so hard to understand who is this person, because the person is fully covered with those colors. So it has such a beautiful spiritual meaning, that in spirituality there is no discrimination of anyone's color, in the sense that this person is black, this person is white, this person is, it belongs to this place, nationality. So we go beyond all these when we come to the path of spirituality. I am not this name, I am not this skin, I am not this, I don't belong to this nationality. But who am I? I am a pure being. I am a soul. That's my identity. So what we understand in here in this, during this festival of Holi, is that if we color ourselves with the real colors of the soul. And we get this deeper understanding that the soul has many colors. And what are the soul colors? The color of the soul is peaceful. Soul is powerful. All the virtues of the soul, they are actually the colors. So we need to color ourselves with these divine virtues. And those colors, they represent the colors of the soul. And the best, and we also say, there is one saying, very beautiful saying again here in Brahma Kumaris, that we get colored by the company that we keep. That means if our company is good, if we are in the company of the divine, that's what we become. So the best company is the company of God. But in order to access Him, we have been discussing that I need to first be aware that I am the one, I am that colorful one. I already have those virtues. It's just that I need to fill myself with these virtues because I am not the ocean. God is the one who is the ocean of all virtues. So if I want to fill myself up with these virtues, I need to make that connection. So coloring myself and then going up, connecting with God, and then God actually colors me. Isn't it beautiful? You are getting colored by God Himself. So God is coloring you, no human being, but God Himself is playing Holi with you. What kind of feeling will you get? God is coloring you with His own divine virtues. And that color is actually imperishable. These colors are only, they last for maybe 2 days, 3 days, or maybe a week or 10 days. That's it. Will be easily removed. But this color is imperishable. When you are in the company of God, then you're very safe. Because this color, when you are colored with this, with these virtues, then nobody can do anything. Because they will not recognize you. Right? They will not recognize that ego. The ego will not be there. All the negativities will not be there. So they will not harm you. And you will be fully protected. Isn't it beautiful?
Right. Yeah.
So that is the true meaning of Holi.
You want to tell the 7 qualities? Peace.
Yeah, so the 7 colors, the 7 qualities of the soul, maybe we can experience those colors in meditation maybe.
Yeah, but at least we can enumerate peace,
Yeah, so
happiness.
the first and most important color is the color of purity, because we are talking about Holi here.
Yeah.
Holi means purity, right? So purity, that is the color of orange. Orange color represents purity, and that's why you see many these sages and holy men, they wear those orange saffron color clothes, right? So purity is represented by this orange color, and we say that purity is actually the mother of peace and happiness.
All the others.
Yeah.
All
the others, yeah, but mainly we say peace and happiness. So peace is the color, the blue color. So let's go in order. That way you will be able to remember. So we can say that inside each one of us there is a beautiful rainbow. VIBGYOR. So violet color, it represents bliss. I, the soul, am a blissful being. Because when I am in connection with God, I can feel that energy. So violet is the color of bliss. Indigo is the color of the truth that we have been talking about, wisdom. And then comes,
So I am a wise soul.
I'm a wise soul.
I'm a blissful soul.
I'm a blissful soul. I'm a wise soul. And then comes the color
Blue.
blue. Blue color represents peace. I am a peaceful being. That's what we practice over and over, because peace is very important. If my mind is at peace, I can do anything, right? So that's why this practice, I am a peaceful soul. That's the blue color. And then the color green. Green represents love. I am a loving being because God is love. God is love and I am a child of God. So I need to remember that I am a loving being. The moment I remember that I am a being of love, I am able to feel that energy and I am able to give that energy to everyone else.
Okay.
And then
G-Y, yellow.
yellow color. Yellow color is the color of joy and happiness. Celebration. That's what is unique about this holy festival, right? And orange color I already
It's
talked
purity.
about. It's purity. And red color,
It's power.
power.
So we can say that a few times, yeah, so that we can have that experience while we are doing this. So we can start with violet. Yeah. I am a, what's violet? Bliss. I am a blissful soul. And as you say that, try to experience it. Try to connect to the core of your existence where there is bliss already sitting there. I am a blissful soul. I am a wise soul. Even for a moment, don't allow any other thought to come. Oh, I don't think I'm wise. I did such stupid things yesterday. Yeah, that's what comes in the mind right away. Or last year, or all my childhood, all those things that I did. So, all those were because you were ignorant. The core of your being, the truth, is that you are a wise soul. I am a blissful soul. I am a wise soul. I am a peaceful soul. I am a loving soul. Allow the energy of love to emerge. I am a happy soul, joyful soul. See happiness bubbling within you. I'm a pure soul. We want purity, right? Purity in water, purity in the air, purity in food. Who doesn't like purity? Purity in consciousness. And then red, I am a powerful soul. Again, I'm a blissful soul, I'm a wise soul, I'm a peaceful soul, I'm a loving soul, I'm a joyful, happy soul. I'm a pure soul, and I'm a powerful soul. For a moment, feel as if God's light is falling upon you, and you have become a prism that is allowing this white light to disperse into its constituent colors of the rainbow. And see yourself covered by these colors, enveloped by these colors. Yeah. See how it feels so beautiful. Yeah. Nam Shanti. Yeah. Yeah. But there are a little few more things about Holi. Yeah, yeah. And so you touched upon purity too, right? So the purity, the cleanliness is important. So inner cleanliness, external cleanliness. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we kind of avoid one of or the other. Yeah, but both are important. All of it is important. So I have to become more and more pure in every way or form. And purity is really the thoughts that I'm creating. If I'm creating wasteful, negative, impure thoughts, yeah, or unnecessary thoughts, that's all impurity. So I have to be very careful. So in a way, meditation is a moment-to-moment awareness of what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. And if I stay in the awareness of the fact that I am a soul, that is what we call in Brahma Kumaris as soul consciousness. Then when I forget that I am a soul, that is called as body consciousness. So if I am in soul consciousness, I remember I am the soul that is using this body to experience and express, yeah, with people around me, connect with people, connect with matter around me. Then that will change my energy, and I will be able to have the right kind of thoughts, the right kind of actions will automatically evolve, yeah, from my thoughts. So that's the holy, right? And the third aspect was of holy, the word was uh, that I become God's, holy, that is, I belong to God. And so we talked about that a little bit of the surrender to God's will. And so there's so many things that we are still doing, which I don't want to come across from a religious point of view, like moral things. Morality is not what spirituality teaches. The spiritual compass is different from the moral compass. And so what God really wants from us, we can check for a moment. And think about it. I say that so many times we get so stuck with our own mundane existence, my food, my clothes, my this, my that, my peace, my happiness. Even sometimes for us meditation practitioners, it's like my meditation. Yeah, yeah. My meditation is more important than. So that happens. Of course, it is important because self-care is important. If I don't meditate, I will not be of any use to others. In fact, I'm going to reduce the energy of others. I'm going to pull them down further. So I have to meditate. But going from me and mine to what God wants us to be as servers, as benefactors for the world, how can I take what I have received from God and be willing to share with the entire world? Yeah. That's holy. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think
Anybody has any questions maybe?
Any thoughts, any questions, any comments?
You will get something to...
An exercise.
an exercise. Yeah.
So can you bring that inside? So like we said, that Holi is actually 2-day festival. As such, people, they meet the whole month and they greet each other saying happy Holi, and then they, share sweets, exchange sweets and things like that. It's a whole month festival, really speaking. But mainly there are 2 things that we do during Holi festival. One is burning, that's the Choti Holi, and then small Holi. And then the day of celebration, the second day is the coloring day. So we are celebrating today Holi, but in a spiritual way, not physical way. We are not coloring anyone, we are not burning anything physically. So we all will be doing both the things. We will be burning whatever you feel is old and and that is not serving you anymore, and you really, really want to get rid of that thing. So you write that, you will get a piece of paper, and then you can maybe squeeze it, and then you can come and put it here in the corner, as if you are burning that, the seed. You're roasting, you're burning it. Here you put that. And the second exercise that she's giving to you, the colors, you will be coloring, you will be getting a card, but that card will only be to just, you will be looking at that card and you will be drawing in the same way, because that card is very beautiful. It shows different virtues that we talked about. It shows the colors, different colors. So you will be drawing those colors, virtues, and at the back of that card, you will see one power. The card, the original card that I'll be sharing with you. So you will, that blessing is for you. That is the power that is for you. So as you read that power for yourself, you will read that power for yourself, and you feel that power emerging from inside. Feel the power, okay? And as you receive that power, you plan to share that power with others, okay? And how you will do that? The card that you got, on one side you will be drawing the rays, and on the other side you have to write how you are going to share that power with others. It's like coloring the other person with that power. So this card that you're creating is actually not for you. You will get another card from someone else. Okay? Because see, when we create something and if it is for someone else, then we are more kind of, cautious, more attentive that it should be good. If you make it for yourself, then you are not that much attentive. Right? But this card, you are creating it for the other person. So you are going to color the other person using this card. So first you will color yourself, feel as if God is coloring you with that power that you're going to get. And then use that to color the other person. Got it? Okay?
So now, sorry, you want to say something, please, Sue?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I'll get the power cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before that we have to give them a small piece of paper, I forgot that, so that they can write their seed of thought,
Right.
and they can burn. So first they will do that, and then they will color, right? Both the things.
So now you feel that this festival doesn't belong just to India, or some people think it belongs to the Hindus, to a particular religion. Now you feel it belongs to you too. Yeah, it's a universal festival. It's really a universal festival, and before I knew the importance of this, I myself hated this festival. I don't want to use the word hate, it's a very strong word, but I disliked it. I used to hide away because I didn't want that color. And nowadays, see, it's interesting how they are trying to come up with more permanent colors, more stronger colors, because I think somewhere subconsciously humanity wants itself to be colored by something permanent, something stronger. Yeah, and it becomes so difficult to take that color off the skin. Yeah, it burns the skin, and I used to hide away. When it's so difficult to hide in India, because they would sometimes friends would break the door of the house just to enter. Oh, Shwetan, where are you hiding? Where are you hiding? We know you are inside the house, and so they will break the door sometimes just to get in and to color. So I didn't like it, but now I can relate to it, what it really means, and I hope you can too. And I just wanted to say a little bit about this ritual. The rituals have been part of all festivals in all cultures, all religions, and there is an importance to ritual itself. And I think, I in a way somehow felt always that rituals were anti-spirituality. I always thought that, rituals take you away from spirituality. They do if you don't understand the importance of the ritual. And I was intrigued that actually this kind of a ritual that we're doing of throwing whatever negative you have, you're writing it down and throwing it into the fire. By the way, just to let you know that at the end, we're going to destroy it. We're not going to read what is written in there. So please don't worry. If you feel that you don't want to leave it there, throw it and take it out, and then you can destroy it yourself. But we, for sure, rest assured that we are not going to read what
You
you.
squeeze it in such a way that it is unreadable.
Yeah, you crumple it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's up to you. But it's even in these Native Americans used to have that ritual thing, and so one of these conferences of integrative medicine that I attended, they were talking a lot about the importance of ritual, and I did this. You know, it is interesting when you do it with that again, the firm faith, firm belief. It really is helpful. That when you write your negativity on that, and with all sincerity, you say, yeah, I'm giving it, putting it into this fire of God's love. You feel the energy, and it helps you. So I inspire you to do it with sincerity. I inspire you to take this ritual, I don't know, in a serious way, yeah, and for your own good. You can make it as serious as you want, or as non-serious as you want, but with sincerity, with seriousness, it will give you the necessary help and importance. It will give you the necessary change, transformation that you are looking for. Yeah, that's what I was saying. All right, and shall we have some gentle music for you while you do this exercise?